Welcome back to the Journey Vlogs, my friends. Today I have a little bit of a fun video. I came down to South Florida to meet with Carl to film at a really cool location, but that's not going to be till later tonight. So I figured I would drive around a little bit in the town that I went to college in and show you guys around. And definitely the beach. Definitely the beach. This here in front of us is the Norton Art Museum. And now they've added quite a bit of buildings since we were here last. All this stuff over here on this side, this is all new. There used to be old houses and stuff here where my photography class used to be, is now wide open space, but I think that's the new nursing and administration. And this building right here actually is the original building that Palm Beach University, when it was college, first started off as, and now that's the library. And that's the rest of the campus is all back in here. Oh, and that was the brand new chapel that they put in. We used to use the First Baptist Church when I first started going here, and then my junior year they put that in. And this was all the main office stuff, like if you came to visit and stuff, that was where you went. The most famous picture, they don't even have them running today probably because it's so windy, but most of the pictures you see of this school would be over across, like where that couple's walking over there. They would take a picture facing back this way at the school with those fountains going. Castle house right here. I used to always love this house. Right around the corner. I used to live in an apartment that's behind that house. You can kind of see it here. So that was where my favorite apartment actually was. But what I wanted to show you was, back when I lived here, it wasn't that big of a deal. Anybody recognize what that place is right over here? Big American flag flying in front of it, and the pink tower. I literally live less than half a mile away from Mar-a-Largo, but back then nobody knew what it was or cared. It's kind of funny. Yeah, you can't really see much when you're driving by, that's for sure. So I just thought that was kind of crazy that I used to actually live that close to someone that actually became the president of the United States. I mean, I don't think he was ever there that often. But yeah. And there goes that brand new Ferrari again. I used to be used to seeing all of the fancy cars everywhere. Like, I mean, there's Porsches everywhere, Ferraris everywhere, BMWs, Mercedes. It's like they're everywhere. But we're almost to the beach. So we're gonna see how that goes because it is pretty windy. Here, let me show you this. Did work at this hotel for a little while as well. This is the Breakers. Alright, my friends, we have made it to my favorite beach when I was down here in college. Now it is very, very windy out here right now, so I'm actually hiding kind of in some trees here to try to cut down on all the noise, but it's still pretty windy. So I'm gonna go and explore and see what I can find on the beach, but most of this is probably gonna just have music behind it so you guys don't have to listen to the wind. But I hope you guys enjoy. This beach has always been, like I said, my favorite. I've found quite a bit of shark's teeth and shells here, which when I get back to the house I'll go ahead and include those in there so you guys can see the stuff I found at this beach. But I also used to surf a lot at this beach too, so we don't have any footage of that, but I do have some pictures, so I'll show you those too. But I'm stoked. Drove 3.5 hours to get down here, so I can't wait to get out on that beach. Let's do it. that last clip really lets you see how bad the wind was today, unfortunately. So there wasn't much I could film out there without the wind just blowing everything away. But I did find a whole bag full of stuff. So I figured while I'm waiting here at the park for Carl to show up and go film at the Devil's Tree, that I would show you what we found today. Alright, so here we have some sponges. Really cool specimens there, and then this one here. Like I said, I collect a little bit of everything when I go to the beach. This is called a sea whip. You can see where it was attached to a rock there, so it would have been sitting on a rock like that. Basically, it would have been like a little tree like this, and there would have been a purple skin over top of it, which this still has a little bit of it on there. Here we go. I found a couple of lightning whelks, which this is actually, even though it's kind of beat up and stuff, still got really good color. And then this one was really good. You can see the barnacles are on it, but those are really easy to scratch off. That's a beautiful shell there. These here are fighting conchs. You can see these still actually have some of the skin from the snail left on them. This one's completely clean. Really good colors on them. A lot of times when you're walking on the beach, this lip right here is what you'll find. It'll be just that, it'll be broken off. Luckily these all have them. It's very very rare that you find ones that have all of them. But basically the little snail would have been in there. This little head would have been out of here and little tubes out of there. And these actually have some pretty good spikes on them. And I got one more here. Color inside of this one's amazing. Another very common shell to find on the beaches of the East Coast are olive shells. And a lot of times you'll have to take something to get these shells out of them, but they're like, you know. And the tips will be broken on them, so I'm really happy with the ones I found today. Especially this one, it's really got a lot of good color to it. I also found a couple of rocks that are in the shapes of hearts. Thought that was kind of cool. This one especially. Found a really cool tulip shell. Really good colors. The lip is broken on that one though, but still a really good shell. These are called bonnet shells. And then you also have nutmegs. This one's got a huge crack in it, which you can probably make a necklace out of it, honestly. Stick some string through there. Really cool shells though. Striations on the sides, like they're not a smooth shell, it's very rough. Also found a couple of falcon's wings and then we have these two shells, which you guys are probably thinking not that interesting, pretty worn out, pretty average shells, which these are pretty much, these and olive shells are the two types of shells you'll find the most of on the East Coast. But one thing you probably noticed about both of these is this one has a hole in it there, this one has a hole in it there, and I did not put those in there. Actually, what happens is something called a moon snail, which looks like this. It's also called a shark's eye. This variety of moon snail with the dark center right there is called a shark's eye. But this snail that would have lived inside of this shell would come along and crawl up on top of these shells and use acid and a radula, which is basically its tongue, to drill a hole into the calcium carbonate of the shell and then eat the animal out of it. So when you see these holes that are perfect like this, it's actually from this snail eating these. The cool thing is they're already made for necklaces though. But yeah, anytime you see a hole in a shell that's a perfect circle like that and you didn't do it, that's who did it. One of my other favorite things to pick up, I always get one every time I go to the beach, is what we call hamburger seeds. I mean, that looks exactly like a little miniature hamburger. I believe it's a type of magnolia seed. But yeah, I've always liked these because they look like little miniature hamburgers. These are just a couple of Florida turban shells, not the best. Got an apple murex shell. It's not really the best. It's pretty old and beat up and stuff, but the murex family worth of shells are some of my favorites. I got a couple of lace murex. Got this little guy here. And we got this really good one here. And it's really good, but honestly, when they're alive, these little things here would have more frills coming off of them. Still a really pretty shell though. Got some cone shells. These are pretty just standard cone shells. Tiny ones. Interesting story about cone shells is in World War II, a lot of soldiers were finding huge cone shells over in France and picking them up and putting them in their pockets. Well, the snail that lives in this is a carnivorous snail, and it actually has like little poisonous harpoons that it shoots out into the fish to catch them. And when they put these into their pockets, if they were big enough, those little harpoons, they'd stick them in the leg and end up killing soldiers. So if you ever see a living cone shell, I would be cautious of it. One this size probably couldn't do much to you, but it probably still would hurt. These are branching coral. Again, it's just the skeleton of the animal. The coral would have covered this, and then each little hole that you see here would have had polyps, and that would have been the actual living animal. We have this piece of coral too that I found is pretty cool. I don't think I've ever found one that was so perfectly together. That's pretty much how it would have sat on a rock. This would have been the anchor of it here. And again, it's a skeleton of it, so all these little ridges would have been separate animals. Basically, a coral is a polyp community that live together as one organism. These are your common augurs. Now this is really cool. I found a baby's ear. You can see how small it is. But then I also found a fossil of a baby's ear. See if I can really get in there. Let me try to really get in there and show you. Yeah. See that one? And that one? So basically this is a fossil of one of those. That's pretty cool. This is just a crab claw, but I thought it looked pretty cool. And last but not least is some really cool shark's teeth that I found. So I can't wait to add those to my collection. That was a pretty good haul today out there. I was only supposed to be there for about 30 minutes, and I think I ended up spending about an hour and a half there. So that's just how I am when I go to the beach. It's like there's always another shell if I keep walking. There's another something if I keep walking. Pretty much like that when I go exploring too. It's like you go to a place and you just continue to walk through the woods. Like there's got to be something else. If I only would have went a few feet more, it would have been something. But, and that's going to do it for this vlog. We'll see you next time, my friends. Much love.